All right, hey everybody, how y'all doing out there? This is Rob for Smirking Gun Reviews, here to do a channel update. Kind of haven't done one of these in a while, and I found it necessary at this point in time in February to discuss what's going on with the channel and what we're going to be doing on the channel and explain a few things. Because I took another hiatus. I think it's important that when you know you need to take a break, you take a break. And, at the time that I took my break, I mean, the channel was doing well with the Expanse videos. And as much as I would have loved to have gotten more subscribers and views and stuff from, a couple of episodes that I missed on that show, it was really necessary for me to step away because 2020 really ravaged me. And I know it ravaged a lot of other people as well. It really took a slow but sure toll on my mental psyche, because I'm not a political person. I think politics are best, like when you think about presidents or whatever, it's nice to just have it to like know enough what's going on but not have to worry so much. And 2020 really woke me up to a lot of things that are not going away. I don't want them to go away. 2020 politically fucked me up and opened my eyes to a lot of things that need to change in this country. And I'm no longer willing to just keep my mouth shut for the sake of views, likes, subscribes, all that jazz. I know that most of the people that I follow on YouTube, this is their job. And they ride the line with their content, and some don't ride the line at all. Some there's just they just don't talk about anything. It's all about making sure that their base, is and gives them either ad revenue from YouTube or subscribers or sponsors, all that kind of jazz, so that they don't lose money and that they don't have to get a real job. And I'm only semi-serious about that. If you've been doing the YouTube for a while and you've earned your place here, I can understand that a little bit. But at the same time, I think that there's stands that we all have to make in our lives. And if you choose to sit on the sidelines, then when the bad shit comes, you need to shut your fucking mouth. And I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be a YouTuber that just sits there and only cares about the revenue I'm going to make. Because I always said I would not monetize my channel. Fuck monetization. I wanted to do everything on my own. But then brought to my attention that there's ads being played on my content without my knowledge, without consent, and they're profiting off of my work. And so that's when I said, well, if they're going to just take, if they're going to make money off of this, then I should be making the money too. And so I did monetize because I'm not going to let somebody else profit off of my hard work. And I'm still able to make content the way I want to. I have to be a little more careful with copyrights, and I'm being a little more creative with things, and I'm fine with that. It actually makes me a more creative content creator. But I also work a very high-risk job. I work with the public 40 hours a week, close, people all that time. And somehow I've avoided getting COVID. But it's always in the back of my mind. And I'm always having to deal with people who don't recognize the dangers that we're all in with this pandemic. So politically, on top of everything that was going on with the now ex-president orange-faced asswipe and the pandemic and the atrocities that the police were committing to people on live television, or not live television, but recording on phones and just, I don't even know how to say it. I'm getting upset. The straight up murders that cops were committing. And not that it's a new story. I mean, we talk about it in my Judas and the Black Messiah review and discussion. But I'm getting like a phone call. This is hilarious. One second. Phone's been going off the hook today. I don't know why. Nobody ever calls me. So I apologize for pausing just then. But yeah, now I've lost my train of thought because of that. Anyway, with the murders that the cops are committing and all that, everything that was going on just started pounding me down and wearing me down and wearing me down. And being on Twitter a lot. I've talked about recently, like people need to get back to work so they can stop being on Twitter 24/7. But social media didn't help either. I think a lot of us were addicted to the doom scroll, and it was affecting my mental status because I suffer from extremely bad anxiety. Like I think a lot of people either got during 2020 or got worse during 2020. I know I'm not alone in this, but I also suffer from pretty bad depression and loneliness, all these things that make for a pretty bad year. The one thing I had going for me was that I wasn't one of the unemployed. And my community grew, and I think that if it wasn't for my YouTube community, I don't know what would have happened. And you guys know who you are. But it also caused me to stop making my content the way I did. And we were reviewing a lot of stuff up until the pandemic. Right up until like when the end of C2E2 2020 happened, the last comic book convention in the country. I was at that, and I came back, and within a month or so, I had fallen off all the projects that I was working on because of it. And so the major channel update thing, the part about this that's important to people who watch the channel, is we are still going to be taking our time and not forcing ourselves to just get stuff out. It's one of the reasons why I'm pre-recording a bunch of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews on my own time and releasing them whenever, like on a weekly basis, one a week. But to talk about the things that we are going to be covering. So one thing we are going to be covering again, coming back after taking a whole season off, is we are going to be returning to the Walking Dead reviews. There's only 6 episodes coming out at the end of February, and I feel compelled to go back to watching and reviewing it. After I did a video over on D's Reviews where I binge watched season 10, and then we talked about it together, and the sense of community I got from D, and the desire to talk about that show and the comic book that I love. I love the comic book, and for a long time I really liked the show, as up and down as it can be. And I want to come back and finish it now that it's nearing, it's finally finishing off. If I didn't know the end was in sight, I probably wouldn't go back. But there's also a kind of a reason I want to return to that is one episode in particular that's coming up that deals with Negan that I really want to get into. And I don't know if that's going to be in the next 6 episodes, but I hope it is. I think it is. But we're going to be returning to that at the end of February. We're also going to be covering Invincible, the Robert Kirkman animated series, because I love that series as well. I've got one of the books. I've got the omnibuses around here somewhere. So we're going to be talking about Invincible. We talked about that a long time ago when we were talking about some of the most anticipated shows. One was like Snowpiercer, Y the Last Man, and Invincible. And Invincible looks really good, even though I'm still going to have to get used to that animation style. I'm not a big fan of some of the Justice League animation that it kind of looks like. But with the mature subject matter, I think I'll be ignoring some of the animation. And, I'm not going to say, hey, look, I can't draw anymore. So I think it's going to be the story that wins me over for that. So we're covering Invincible. Whether that's a bingeable show or not, I hope not. I know that there's like this kind of tug of war of what's good for water cooler talk, like shows like WandaVision are doing, or The Mandalorian, which are keeping people coming back week after week, giving people something to talk about during your week instead of just binging something and then moving on to the next thing, which to me leaves you feel hollow inside. It's one of the reasons why The Expanse returning to weekly episodes was important. And I know that the reason they're doing it is for money. They don't give a damn if you're talking about it. That is just a bonus. But I happen to like that, so we're going to be covering Invincible as well. But to go all the way back to some of the content that we were doing back before the pandemic hit, we are going to be returning to some of that stuff. And the first one that we're going to be tackling and finishing for sure is returning to finish HBO's The Leftovers. We were in season 2 when I stopped. We're going to return and finish season 2 and 3 of The Leftovers. And when we're done with that, we're going to return to talking about Peter Capaldi's run on Doctor Who, because I really was enjoying talking about that, mostly because I really like Peter Capaldi. But I also liked watching that show from that, like, one section of, and getting explanations for a lot of the universe of Doctor Who through Peter Capaldi's run. And so we will be returning to that. And eventually we'll get back to Batman the Animated Series and Justice League. It's just going to take a while because I don't want to force myself and burn myself out. And one of the other things I talk about it on Judas and the Black Messiah is I want to talk about things that excite me. I want to talk about things that really grab me. I want to talk about things that make me happy and things that I want to share with other people. Like this shirt. Right? This Respect Generation X shirt. Now, I want to talk about this shirt because this shirt excites me because I got it from Jen Kirkman's site. She's a comedian that I've been paying attention to the majority of my life. She kind of fell under my, back into my radar in the last couple of years with some of the stuff that she talks about on Twitter. And she has this store that you can go to. I believe it's on TeePublic, where all the proceeds go to food banks. So if you want to get a Respect Generation X shirt or something else like that, you can find those shirts on her channel. She did not ask me to pay, to do this. I am doing it of my own accord because I think helping out people who need food is an important issue. I love all this stuff and all this nerd stuff, but there's a lot more important things than just all this nerdy stuff. We also are probably going to do a video at the end of WandaVision to talk about the whole thing. There's nothing more that's triggering me more irritatingly wise as is the discussions around WandaVision because I love it, but I hate, well, hate's too strong a word. I really, after saying it 3 times, I really dislike I don't know, the way that people are talking about this show just annoys the hell out of me. But I am going to talk about it at the end, and we will be covering Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. That will be talked about as well. We will be doing reviews for that show. So there's a lot going on at the channel, and it might seem like, wow, it doesn't sound like you're backing off at anything at all. But I'm going at my own pace, and I think that that's important to my mental health. I think it's important to everybody to do things in a way that helps them out the best mentally. I'm supposed to be, at this time when I'm recording this, seeing a doctor very soon to deal with my anxiety problems, at least get to manage them, because according to some family members I've been talking to that are also suffering from the same traumas that we've experienced in our life, it's necessary. And one last video that we're going to talk about here that's coming when I can best talk about it is the Jehovah's Witness video. I know that this probably should have been the opener. It's like, why didn't you lead with that? It's really funny that Chris Stuckman dropped his big Jehovah's Witness video. I've been talking about it for a long time on my channel. We're going to get to it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it someday. And I had been building up to it, like seriously building up to it. I felt like, oh my God, it's time. It's time to do it. And then he dropped this amazing story of his life. And I was like, of course. One of the reasons, it's like, you ever wonder why you feel a connection to somebody, and not because, oh, I watch them on YouTube, but just there's something there, just you kind of go, and finding out that Chris Stuckman was a Jehovah's Witness, really, it's like just so much made sense. So much about how he talks, so much about the way he deals with his community and his honesty and stuff like that really clicked in, and his love for film and anime and all these things that he loves. It fits so much to that I freaked out and was like, I was going to do a video too. Well, I'm still going to do a video about my Jehovah's Witness experience and how being a Jehovah's Witness basically destroyed my life and has created this monster you see, this shell of a man that you see before you that is using YouTube as a way to help with my anxiety. Every single video I make is like a fight against that anxiety. In fact, I always like to say that I wish I was more like myself at the outside world than what I am right here. Knowing that I'm talking potentially to the entire world for some reason is easier doing it here than out there. And someday I'd like that to change. So we're going to make that Jehovah's Witness video, but it's like Chris said about his own video. there's a lot of things to consider before I open up that box, because my life could change dramatically, and not in all positive ways once I make that video. It's all about building up to the confidence and losing some of the fears that I have. Um, and that's saying something about the video itself and the background and the Jehovah's Witnesses themselves. So anyway, that is also coming very soon, hopefully. As soon as I can get the courage to really, really lay it all out there. Because that video won't just affect me. I've got a lot of family that had things that this all ties into, and it could affect them, and then in turn affect me, and it might even change my living situation. I don't know. It's kind of a scary, scary thought. So, but it's still a story that I feel everybody needs to hear, because yes, the Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. But my whole aspect on religion tends toward leaning towards cultism anyway. But anyway, that's about it. I don't think I have too much other than, yes, you're going to see more fake ads in front of things. I'm enjoying making little commercials before my videos. I am doing things like creating my own theme songs before stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to avoid copyright claims, just because it's fun. Just because I, don't really feel like looking for duty-free music anymore. Just trying to do more clever things. And it's always the channel. We're always trying to find new ways to entertain and new ways to learn what I'm doing, learn my craft. Because when I work 40 hours a week, which gives me a very limited time to understand the process of YouTube and making better videos and making cleaner videos. We've been trying to get a new laptop forever so that we can actually, make 1080p videos that look clean, that sound clean, that handle my editing software better. So whenever you see a glitch, that's why, because I'm working on a out-of-date technology for what I'm trying to do. And so I'd like for my little areas that I have this set. I've got my comic book set. I've got my area where we do the Mandalorian and other things. I've got all sorts of areas that I film, but to me, I just want it to look the best for everybody, because for some reason, even though I like to say that it's my words that are the most important, I, for myself, even just want them to look better and clearer, so that people can go, what's that thing in the background? What is that back there? You can actually see what it is a little bit better. So anyway, thanks for watching this. Thanks for if you've made it this far. For some of you that have been subscribers since the beginning, I want to continue to say thank you for your support. To everybody who's subscribed and hung around this long, and the new subscribers, I hope you guys know I try to get to every single comment no matter what, unless you're an asshole, and then you can go fuck yourself. But hey, that's the internet. You're going to run into that kind of problem, right? So one last thing I do want to bring up before I go, and that's to my good friend Gino Reynolds. Gino Reynolds has the Real Gino channel. That's TheReelGeno, the Real Gino channel. One of the reasons why I'm still going strong and fighting for my channel and fighting to get past things so I can make content is because of his support. He's a channel that if you are not subscribed to, not desperately, that's weird. I would strongly recommend go checking out his videos because he covers a lot more movies than I do. And he's just as honest and got the biggest heart in the entire universe. Because he's the guy that I don't get presents for Christmas. And he sent me not one box of presents, but 2 boxes of presents. And one present in particular was sitting around for a really long time. And I hadn't done anything about it. And there was a disc in my box of presents that was sitting there because I was afraid if I put it in my laptop, it might break my laptop or something like that, because there were some problems. But I finally watched it the other day, and on that video, and I downloaded it to my private listing here, is this video right here. And Gino did a message, got Troy Baker to do a message for me, encouraging me about my job, my high-risk job and my career as, well, my hobby that I wish was my career as a YouTuber and Twitch streamer. And it was amazing to hear Troy Baker addressing me personally about these things. I want to thank Troy Baker for his sincerity and his honesty and his literal care for other people, to talk to somebody like me, even if it was through Cameo and everything like that. But I also, the real thanks has to go to Gino Reynolds, because it takes a real friend to do something like this big and important to another person. And hearing Troy Baker suddenly call me by name, and I know that they're you know, they have a little bit of a script and everything, but it touched me greatly, and it was one of the inspirations to get me back to doing what I'm doing, and made me realize a lot of things that I was complaining about need to be checked. I need to check myself and check my privilege and check a lot of things, that things aren't that bad, you know, if you can get a handle on them and start thinking a little bit better. And so I got kind of the Zen kick I needed to the brain when I saw this. But like I said, if it wasn't for Gino Reynolds doing this, to think about this, to care enough about me, it made me realize how much there are people out there that give a shit. And I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that. I'm used to betrayal. I'm used to betrayal and abandonment. So I want to thank everybody out there that hasn't abandoned the channel, hasn't abandoned me, that's stuck around through thick and thin, to I'll do this and never do it, or never finish this project. To all of you out there that still watch because they just like the content that I put out, it means the world to me. And I'm sorry that I finally monetized my channel, but like I said, they're taking money from me. I'm taking it back. So everybody, from Gino to Troy to Desiree to Raina to Bill to Deborah to Don to Belinda to Jen, I haven't seen you in forever, to Paul, and I know I'm forgetting a bunch of you, all right? I know I'm forgetting a ton of you. There's over 1,700 of you. Those are the one, you know, Jan Fulton, if I'm saying it right. All the people overseas, whatever country you're in. I want to thank you all for putting up with my little channel, because we're honest here. That's one of the biggest things that I think YouTube is lacking, is true honesty, even to a fault. So thanks everybody, and get ready for some new content, and I hope you like some of it, or all of it. But if you don't like none of it, I'm sorry. So have a great day everybody, and we'll see you on future videos. Bye.